All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is October 29th, 2025. Third video of the day. Can you believe that? You count this morning and this afternoon, and of course tonight. So here we are. Let's keep borging. So anyway, we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. We're going to be talking about Xi Jinping meeting Trump. And we're going to be talking about some other stuff going on. Let's see. My wife is sending me funny videos. Iran is supposedly going to make nukes. We hear that every other day. Trump is going to be dealing with nuclear weapons, the Department of War. Yeah. More of our prominent leftists are saying kill people that are on the right. Oh, yeah, all kinds of stuff. There's a white lynx, supposedly. I don't know, probably AI. Anyway, that's what's going on. So we are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. We'll talk about more at the end. Get you all in here nice and settled in. And then when I got some people in the chat, we'll go for it from there. Thanks for being here. So let's rip right through it and get started on your crisis report for October 29th, 2025. Yeah, we got, not a lot here, but I've been pumping out the news, and a lot of interesting stuff. So settle in, lock in. Whoosh, here we go. Western intelligence says Iran is intensifying its ballistic missile program despite UN sanctions with help of direct shipments from China. We should make a drinking game where every time they say Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon and kill people with it, you have to drink. So you'd be probably drunk through most of your adult life, as it's what we hear all the time. There are some things ramping up in Israel. They've got the spigot ceasefires we're starting to claim right now, which is basically every time they want to go in and bomb crap, they can, and when they want to turn it off, they turn the spigot off. Oh, that's right. I got to share this thing. Hold on real quick. Oh, my gosh. So unprepared. I'm tired, to be honest. It's time to go to bed. That's why I'm doing a little bit earlier. Got to go to sleep tonight. There we go. All right, cool, good. Trump gives South Korea approval to build a nuclear-powered submarine, states that it will invest billions in the U.S. and purchase vast quantities of oil and gas. Pentagon has ordered the National Guard to create a quick reaction force in every state and territory by January that are trained and equipped to respond to riots and civil unrest within the U.S. Looks like it's protesting season. Get ready, Democrats. Vance, when people say that Israel is somehow manipulating or controlling the president of the United States, they're not controlling this president of the United States. Trump orders the Department of War to start nuclear weapons tests to match China and its Russians. Former President Barack Obama is calling on governments worldwide to suppress dissenting opinions, urging a global crackdown on what he describes as the dangerous free speech of polarizing voices. Why don't you go F yourself, you former president nobody cares about, okay? Seriously. A freaking president saying stop free speech, man, you are... Urge to cuss rising. I'm not going to cuss. God, I'd like to tell him off. Democrats are preparing to surround the White House with millions of protesters on November 5th demanding Trump's removal from power. Here's some idea. Get some policy that's good. How about that? Huh? How about some good policy? Right? Huh? Maybe create like a bill or, a jobs package or deal with the, problems already ongoing, stuff like that. Let's deal with that. OpenAI revealed that over 1 million users every week share signs of possible self-harm thoughts or intent with the service. Josh Hammer has called for Tucker Carlson's public execution. Great. President Trump announces he has ordered the Department of War to begin immediate testing of America's nuclear arsenal. Scientist Avi Loeb has accused NASA of withholding critical information about 3I Atlas, Manhattan-sized interstellar comet, which has postulated could have been or have extraterrestrial origins. Is it a rocket, a meteor, or a plane? Mysterious illuminating objects over Ireland, leaving residents baffled. These have been going on a lot in the last few days. This green one that was over, I think it was Turkey. There's been at least 2 or 3 of these I've found. And I think one was Japan. Yeah. If you know where they were, in the last few days, been these like green meteors coming and baffling the scientists. So I'm sure it has nothing to do with 3I Atlas or anything else. I'm sure it's completely random. Photographer in Spain has captured what is believed to be the world's first ever white Iberian lynx, extraordinarily rare find even among the planet's most endangered feline species. The leucistic lynx, a genetic anomaly, is almost mythical in nature, as the majority of Iberian lynxes are typically brown or beige white. It looked white, but as I put here on my notes right here, it's probably AI. That's why we can't have nice things, folks. Probably AI. President Trump says we will just won the war on climate change, as in Gil Bates says he admits that it was he was wrong on the issue. Everything's good, folks. Evidently, he just needs more funding. President Trump has arrived for the big meeting with China's President Xi Jinping in China. They're going to have the G2. That's why this one is called the G2 is meeting, and why no one's clicking on here. It's probably because I've hit my ratioed max of views by old Borgarino. Well, let's see how your things are. Yep, your names are still weird. So I guess, I don't know. Who knows what they're doing with that. Trump has arrived for the big meeting with China's Xi Jinping after El Fasher fell into the hands of the RSF militia in Sudan. Thousands of civilians are being unalived before our eyes. To understand the war, there's a series of 20 maps in the war since 2023. Before the war, Sudan was already split between the military junta, the SAF, and the RSF. Neutral factions, rebels and former rebels, including Joint Darfur Forces, Sudan Liberation Army in Darfur, and Sudan People Liberation Army north in the Nuba Mountains of Kordofan. The main fighting in 2023 erupted in all the main cities, with the RSF controlling the Darfur region and part of Khartoum after April 15th coup attempt. They also took the Meroe Air Base and captured Egyptian and Sudanese pilots. Then Meroe was liberated by the SAF, but fighting continued elsewhere. El Janina fell, 15,000 Masalit slaughtered by the RSF. Khartoum battle intensified, Darfur garrisons encircled. This is everything. You've never heard this anywhere else. I know it's not happening down your street, and it's not the EBT, my EBT. But this is like hundreds of thousands of people getting killed, so it does matter. November 2023, RSF to control most of the Darfur garrisons, Niala, Kas, Zalenge, Ed Dain, and Adiela. Only El Fasher didn't fall thanks to the intervention of joint forces. SLMA and Manawi joined SAF in North Darfur. RSF took control of South Khartoum. 2023, RSF, unable to capture the main bases of the armed forces of the central Khartoum, pushed instead Wad Madani in the fertile Gezira state. Same time, it continued its offensive west Kordofan until February. 2024, most joint forces Darfur joined the SAF. This is where we are now. RSF pushed to Sennar and the oil fields of Kordofan, 2024 June. New breakthrough happened in the south of the country. RSF bypassed Sennar, took Singa, reaching the South Sudanese and Ethiopian borders. In August 2024, the SAF opened the Kosti Sennar Road, cutting Singa and taking Jabal Moya. first successful counteroffensive in September. The war escalated with the RSF seeking supply roads to Libya. SAF liberated Singa and started the Khartoum counteroffensive. And within the last 2 days, there have been at least 2,000 civilians who were massacred. If you'd like to know more, that's the beautiful thing about the crisis report. Here is an entire link where you can find out more about a place in a distant country where there's literally people being slaughtered left and right. Not that it matters. I know more people are worried about getting that next bag of Doritos. But when you can't get the Doritos because EBT was shut down, you can know that at least you're not in Khartoum, Sudan, having your throat slit by rebels. So there's that. Gil Bates says we're in an AI bubble, similar to the dot-com bubble. Bill Gates says we're in the midst of an AI bubble. He says it's probably not like the tulip mania that took place in Netherlands 1630s. Could be like the dot-com bubble, where some companies end up overvalued. Honda halts production in Mexico due to chip shortage. Per the article, suspension is due to a shortage of parts linked to tensions between the Netherlands and China over Nexperia, a Dutch semiconductor maker owned by Chinese investors. Dutch-China dispute over microchips is really doing a number on Western car manufacturers. Pakistan threatened to wipe the Taliban off the face of the earth after talks collapsed. After failed peace talks with Afghanistan and Istanbul, Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Asif said Islamabad is ready to completely destroy the Taliban regime and drive them back into the caves. Pakistani authorities accused Kabul of evading peace and shifting the blame for the talks' failure. Tensions between the two countries have sharply risen after a series of attacks on Pakistani territory that Islamabad blames on militants operating from Afghanistan. Something seems to be brewing in Yemen. There's a growing chatter about preparations by Saudi and UAE-led forces, along with reports of new military infrastructures. Meanwhile, ISR flights by the UK, France, and the US have been ramping up noticeably in recent weeks. Whoa, we got to 40, Borg. Wow. I remember when you used to crap that out in the first 10 minutes of my broadcast back when you actually put me into the algorithm. European intelligence says Iran has received several shipments of 2,000 tons of sodium perchlorate from China since September 29th. A key precursor for solid rocket propellant used in mid-range ballistic missiles, according to CNN. U.S. envoy warns Lebanon this is the last chance to dismantle Hezbollah. American envoy has issued a stark warning to Lebanon. This is your final opportunity to dismantle Hezbollah. Either you enter negotiations with Israel or Lebanon will be left to its fate. U.S. envoy Tom Barrack delivered what he described as Lebanon's last warning, saying, "You have one final chance. Either learn the lesson and enter talks with Israel, or Lebanon will be abandoned to its own destiny." In the message, Barrack emphasized that Lebanon must take decisive action against Hezbollah and move toward direct negotiations with Israel if it wishes to avoid a total collapse. Ouch. Putin says Russia has successfully tested the Poseidon nuclear-capable doomsday torpedo, capable of triggering a radioactive tsunami, rendering coastal cities uninhabitable. How you doing, New York? You're sending me a lot of funny stuff. I would love to tell you what I did last night, but I'm not going to. Should I tell them what we did last night? No. They already think I'm weird. All right, I'll tell you at the end of the broadcast. Stick with me. Toyota claims Trump is lying and says it's never explicitly promised a new $10 billion investment in the U.S., despite Trump's claim during his Japan visit, according to Reuters. More than 3 million Venezuelans have joined militias since the U.S. military buildup, bringing the total number up to 8 million people, not including regular members of the military. That's according to Mint Press. Let's go check on chat. How you do? Water Tiger wants to know. Obama is a demon. Yep. Ruh-roh. I have a Honda. That's right. Hello, Teresa Buchanan, 683-654-321. Hello, John. Hello. China purchases 180,000 tons of U.S. soybeans in their first order in months as a show of good faith ahead of the tomorrow meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping, which is actually going on right now. China would win a war if it broke out between the United States, according to The Atlantic, who just wants the godlike Democrats back in. Modern warfare is about production capacity, logistics, and technology. Maybe you shouldn't have gutted our manufacturing 30 years ago. U.S. is likely to lose a long war with China, not because of a lack of bravery, but because of the lack of industrial and technological capacity. Since the United States currently has a technological superiority, China will prevail in a long struggle given the decline in U.S. production, according to The Atlantic. U.S. President Donald J. Trump announces that the Republic of Korea has agreed to pay $350 billion USD for lowering a tariff charged against the United States. South Korea has agreed to pay the USA $350 billion for billion or million? Billion. South Korea is going to give us everything they own for lowering the tax tariffs charged against them by the United States. Additionally, they have agreed to buy our oil and gas in vast quantities and investments into our country by wealthy South Korean companies and businessmen. And it will exceed 11 billion, million, hundred, quadrillion, $600 billion. Our military alliance is stronger than ever before, and based on that, I have given them approval to build a nuclear-powered submarine rather than the old-fashioned and far less nimble diesel-powered submarines that they have now. A great trip with a great president of South Korea. Donald J. Trump has just secured the moon from South Korea. Trump and Xi Jinping are meeting face-to-face, shaking hands. Jesus, of course, being his usual self, says nothing really. Reporter, do you plan to sign a trade deal today? Trump, could be. It could be. We'll have a great meeting, a great understanding. It's the greatest understanding you've ever heard of. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has extended the National Guard's deployment in Washington, D.C. through February. And Washington carried out a new strike against a suspected drug trafficking boat. So there you have it. Tell you what, Borg, you get me up to 50 people, and I'll tell you about my strange night last night, doing strange things with my wife. Let's see if he gets there. At 49, I just need one more. Can we get there, Borg? Go, Borg, go, Borg, go, Borg, go, Borg. Come on, Borg. Trust the Borg. We are in control. All right, let's tell you anyway. I guess 49 is close enough. Oh, 6 people left. Whatever. These numbers are fake. So, let's get at it. My wife and I had a nice date night last night. Now, most people go and have dinner and talk or a movie or something like that. We went on a shamanic journey. Yes. What is that, you ask? I have no clue still, but I'm going to tell you what happened. Lady basically took a drum and took us on like a mental mindfulness exercise, okay? And you go through the lower world and the upper world or something like that, right? The lower world is like you got to go through a place you've been to. So my wife and I, we honeymooned in Belize, and we went to an underground river when we were there. So my passage point was through the underground river. When my wife wants me to do this stuff, I love her. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it all the way. So I went through my passage point, okay? And I was looking for my spirit animal, folks. We're looking for the spirit animal. And supposedly I was going to find it, right? And no, we did not use mushrooms. No drugs involved. We got in there and like closed our eyes, and this lady like beat a drum, and I was supposed to connect with my spirit animal. And sure enough, it showed itself. I'll tell you what, if you guys can guess the spirit animal, I will show my face. Okay? First 5 people. What is my spirit animal? Go ahead. A pig. No, I do own a pig. Well, technically not anymore. Honey badger. I like that one. Nope. Wasn't the tone. It is not Hillary Clinton. Water tiger is an owl. I like that one. Ooh, no, that's 3 down. Keep coming. A turkey, a skunk, a Sasquatch, alligator. All right. So, did not get it in the first 5. Not going to show my face. However, Johnson R got my upper realm animal, which is a hawk, but my lower realm was a black bear. Yes. And so I went through the mental vision of going down this this Belize River under a cave, and I came out on the other side as the chanting and the beating and everything else is going on. And ooh, I like a newt. I became a black bear. Yeah. And I was walking down this path, and it was kind of dusk. It was like, 6 o'clock at night, fall, still kind of beautiful out, kind of looked like a nice forest. And I was walking, and just kind of me and the bear, just like kind of verges one. So we got through that. And then they're like, okay, we're going to go through the upper realm. There's a middle realm, but we weren't going to do that one. So we went to the upper realm. And this place where I grew up, you're supposed to climb a tree or like, take a vine or something like that. And I climbed this tree in my yard, it's a big old tree, up into the upper realm. And you're supposed to come out and kind of break through this membrane, she said. And I did that. And if I still have subscribers after this, I'll be surprised. And I kind of broke through, and I was at this place that I saw when I was a kid called Beechwood Farms in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Beautiful place in the fall. And it's, nature preserve. And I was up in the clouds, and me and this like hawk like merged totally. And I was just flowing around and flying and free and everything. And, after I got through all this, I'm describing it because she's like, does anybody want to share their experience? About 8 of us. And, of course, no one else says anything. So I'm like, F it. So I tell everybody like the whole story. And I said, I think what it means is like in the lower realm, I'm supposed to just follow my path and keep trudging along. No matter what comes at me, slow and steady wins the race. And in the upper realm, when I was the hawk, I'm supposed to try to be as free as possible, never ever forgetting to fly off on my own wings and do what I feel I want to do and what I feel is right. I do. I do conserve friends. I absolutely love my wife more than anything in the world. I really do. I hope I never spend a second on this earth without her. But that's what I got out of it. That's what I got out of it. I'm going to be slow and steady, keep going, and I'm going to fly high. Because as in William Blake, one of my favorite quotes says, no bird soars too high if he soars on his own wings. So friends, will leave you with that. Go soar on your own wings. Go out there. And I'm sure I'll get someone commenting in the thing how I'm Satan entered my soul now because I went and did something, crazy, like enjoyed a drum beating and some incense as I, went into my mind's eye and just kind of floated around as a bear hawk. Be weird, friends. Be free, but be steady. We're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you're looking to put that gold or silver IRA into effect, take your retirement and do it. All right, friends, that's it. Thanks for sharing. God bless. We out, folks. Check out the links in the description if you're still subbed to me, whether board gets rid of you or you just kind of decided to go away because of that strange story. I appreciate you all, friends. That's what I love about this. I can say that stuff. I can just be me, and I'm weird. God bless you all.